afternoon and thank you for flying with us. On your left of the screen, you'll see my lovely guest, York. Hi, York. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great, Bex.
Good.
What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. We're looking at the live stream from Gamescom, and then we'll be switching over to a game in a little bit later.
Back at Gamescom this year with Flight Simulator. You guys have really been soaring to new heights recently. Can you tell us what you've been up to?
Yeah, I mean, so it's great to be here at Gamescom. Bex, pleasure to meet you. We've been on quite a journey over the last few years with Flight Sim. We just celebrated our 3-year anniversary, and we couldn't be happier. Both the core sim audience really have embraced the sim as the home of their hobby, and then we found a whole bunch of new people that have never tried Flight Sim before, and they're happy and interested. So it's awesome. We've already announced we have over 12 million unique users. But some of the stats are just incredible. Like there have been over 700 million flights taken, 77 billion miles flown. So that sounds abstract, right? So it's 2 million times around the equator. Or if you want to go galactic, you can say it's 120 times from here to Neptune.
Wow.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
That's a lot of flying. I mean, I'm one of those new players as well that hadn't played it before, and now I'm obsessed with Flight Simulator as well. And we're back at Gamescom. Last year, you guys really put on a show with an amazing recreation of Cologne, as well as flying helicopters up the Rhine to the Messe where we are here. What can we look forward to this year at Gamescom?
Yeah, we love Gamescom. I mean, the vibe of the show, everything here is super cool, and it's so much fun for us to figure out what would make people happy, you know, here in this region, beautiful region of the earth. So this year we did, plus I'm German, you know, I don't know. But this year we did 2 things. We did, and I've done little videos for you. So the first one is what we call city update. We call this one City Update Western Europe. So instead of doing another German city, we said, why don't we take the countries around Europe? So we have a little trailer for you. So
Yeah, let's take a look then. Jorg, that was so pretty. I'm always blown away with Microsoft Flight Simulator's ability to recreate the world so accurately as well. But you mentioned 2 videos for us. What else can we have a look at?
yeah, the second one is, it's near and dear to my heart. So there's a long history of aviation in Germany. It goes way back to the Zeppelins and stuff. And we've explored some of this in Flight Sim already with the Junkers F-13, which was the first metal passenger plane. The Doge, that was the first one that crossed the South Atlantic. Then the Junkers U-52. But when you grow up in Germany like I did, there's one plane that stands above them all. It's a real, you know, pinnacle of German aviation, and it's called the Do-X from Dornier. We have a trailer.
Let's look at the trailer then, the Do-X. my goodness, I can't believe they could fly something like that. I mean, those wallpapers alone are fantastic. The city update and the Dorney, it looks so cool, especially the airport that a lot of us flew into here at Cologne Airport. It looks so cool. You must be so proud of it. When can fans get their hands on it? When's it's releasing?
Well, so for the airport was for the people of Cologne. We made the Cologne Airport. Here we go. Enjoy. So just about the DoX a little bit more. So it was designed by famous aircraft designer Claude Dornier. And it was actually the idea was to compete with the big ocean liners of the time. Think Titanic and, the ones that made it. So they built 3 of them. And what was interesting is it was only 3 because it was commercially not successful. But they took a famous flight, you saw it in the trailer, from Germany to South America to New York. And there was like all these awesome pictures of it at the Statue of Liberty and all that stuff. But all those planes were lost. And I really wanted to make this as a local legend. And I'd almost given up. I spent 2 years researching this and I'm like, oh my God, I can't find anything. And then I was happily finding this individual, Peter Kielhorn, and he is the initiator of the DoX rebuild project. And he's also the president of the DoX Foundation. And they are trying to rebuild the DoX in true scale, in real life, in Hildesheim by the 100th anniversary. So in 2029 it's supposed to be done. And they gave us all the plans and everything. Because typically we have museums and we can visit those plans. Here was nothing. And just because of these people, I just want to say a big shout out. That is how we could actually create this plane and preserve it, because we have this idea of digital preservation in flight sim, where planes of the past that are oftentimes lost can be enjoyed by generations of the future. So we did that. So happy with it.
Jörg, that's such a beautiful story, honestly. It's so present, the passion and attention to detail that you and the team have in Flight Simulator. It's such a vibrant game from the last few years, but I'm curious what you think makes it so special.
I mean, there's a flight sim community and they make us special. So there's literally hundreds of thousands or millions of people. Their number one hobby in life is aviation. They know everything about planes and they push us all the time. They want all kinds of details and they keep saying we need to add this and this and this and this. That has been pushing us forward a lot and it's super fun actually. And then there's a creator community, is also interesting because we have an SDK. So there's about 2,000 companies and individuals. They make airplanes, airports, all kinds of cool add-ons. And it's a vibrant marketplace. We have a marketplace in the sim that has over 2,500 add-ons. And that alone, that is keeping us fresh. Every morning when I get up, I go on the computer and say, what did they do? And it's always it's like opening chocolate. It's awesome.
That's so lovely to hear. I mean, speaking about the future and what's coming as well, there is a new flight simulator that we can look forward to next year. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Flight Sim 2024. It is by far the biggest undertaking ever in simulation. The team is almost 500 people now. We've been working hard. We're adding realistic aviation activities. So it's not just you, the plane, and the planet. It's what planes actually do in real life. So it's if you're interested in aviation at all, this is the one. And I think we're going to have it here next year at Gamescom. I'm really looking forward to showing it.
Well, I can't wait to see it as well. Jörg, congratulations to you and the team again, and the community as well. Thank you so much for chatting with us here at Gamescom today. And from one fan favorite to another, we're going to catch up with the team behind Age of Empires Anniversary Edition to find out what it takes to make such an iconic PC title work on consoles. Let's go.
Welcome to World's Edge, home to the beloved Age of Empires franchise. We've been on a journey to continue the legacy of creating world-class real-time strategy games that started over 25 years ago.
That legacy is all thanks to you, the fans.
You inspire us to develop new ideas and evolve our games.
In 2021, we partnered with the award-winning studio Relic Entertainment to push the franchise into a new era with our latest title, Age of Empires 4.
It was a global event that heralded a new chapter of storytelling and strategy.
Age of Empires 4 humanizes the compelling stories from that historical time and presents a new perspective through engaging gameplay.
It challenges you to make history your story.
And what better way to do that than with a trebuchet?
Did you hear that whoosh?
In the first year of Age of Empires 4, we added new civilizations, new seasons, and features that fans were very excited about.
But there was always something else that fans wanted.
We kept hearing the same thing over and over.
When are you bringing it to Xbox?
We're so excited that finally all the content in Age of Empires 4 is now available on the Xbox console.
But figuring out how to make it for a console audience was easier said than done.
It was impossible to go to any social media platform where the Age of Empires account was posting, where there was not a comment underneath saying, when is it coming to Xbox?
We knew that it was important, especially from the perspective of being able to bring RTS and Age to as many people as possible.
We'd been talking about it for a long, long time, but it had always come back down to that key factor of getting RTS from PC and mouse onto a controller. You get the defensive stance like, you can't do this. Like, well, why do you feel that way? Well, I'm gonna have to like move a fake mouse around. Okay, we're not doing that. A controller is a drive mechanism. You're driving a character, you're driving a viewpoint. You are driving something through an environment. How do we make that work? How do we find a solution? We have these ideas, but we can't build the game internally. We're not a huge RTS studio, but we would love to go look for partners. And the first team on our list that we want to talk to was Relic about doing Age 4.
Relic has been making RTS games for 25 years, and Age of Empires has always been a reference point.
It's truly a global effort between so many different teams: Climax, Forgotten Empires, Relic, and the World's Edge.
World's Edge brought in Climax Studios in the UK, who had a background in console games.
Climax Studios is a real powerhouse when it comes to user interface elements.
And we felt that they could bring a unique perspective to building out the control scheme.
There was a port once upon a time. In 2001, I played it and I hated it. I hated everything about it. So we have a history, even within our franchise, of how not to do a port.
If we were forced to port it, we probably never would have done it.
Our challenge was, we're bringing in Age 4, which has some extra complexities over Age 2. How are we going to make that work? What we found is we could actually use that framework to bring the game into its own.
This game is basically a redesign from the ground up.
Age of Empires 4 is a different engine. It wasn't just a case of doing what Age 2 did. We had to build it all from the ground up.
You have players sitting in the living room away from the TV. We have to reconsider all the UI menus and all the in-game HUDs to make sure they're as legible, as high contrast as possible.
The whole development team knew that micromanaging individual villagers was going to be difficult on console.
We have introduced a lot of automation systems.
All of us as game designers and game creators are always seeking that next thing. Like, how do we evolve the experience? How do we move it forward, right?
There are two that really stand out. First one is called the Villager Priority System.
The Villager Priority System is something we came up with in Age 2 because we were after that idea of like, okay, how do we stop the console player from having to do this insane amount of micromanagement of their villagers? Based on a pie chart, you can say like, hey, 50% of my people are gonna go work on wood, and 25% are gonna go work on food, and the rest are gonna go work on gold. And they'll just start working on them. Now, if you wanna change that, we've added all these cool settings for mid-game, early game, wood rush.
That were designed by our pro players. So these presets are not just something that were slapped together.
Or you can turn it off and do everything manually, it's up to you.
We also have the site menu system
that allows you to quickly issue a command contextually on the ground.
It's context sensitive, so it'll bring up the right structure that you can build at that spot. In Age, you were always relegated to having to select a villager, bring up the build menu, click the item that you want, and then drop that build foundation on the battlefield. Now with the SMS, you don't have to do that anymore. You can literally pan the camera over to a spot, bring up your production radial, drop a build foundation there, and a villager will automatically be selected to start the build process on that particular foundation.
The kind of magic to the radio menu is that it allows you to do many things at the same time. With the console version of Age of Empires 4, we also added a new find menu feature. This is a unique radio menu that allows you to quickly find and locate units or buildings or a collection of buildings in the midst of battle.
Those were the primary things that the minute we had them working, we're like, those are in the Age 4 console.
And we often joke between the designers that some of us even prefer to play on the controller now because it is so good.
This was something bigger than a port. This was something that we had to approach the way that one would approach starting out a project from scratch.
Age of Empires 4 on controller is a new experience. Because of that, we knew we needed to design a new entry point.
When we're making tutorials, one of the things that we always try to do is figure out a way to make them not now do this, now click on this. Like, how do we build it into the experience?
he first needed to get a lay of the land.
The Rise of King tutorial is a completely new story within Age of Empires 4.
For a whole new audience, we wanted to bring them through an experience that was a great storytelling experience.
A collection of large rocks caught Guillaume's eye. Wary of hidden threats, he decided to investigate.
But also introduced mechanics to them in a progressive way in which they could learn from it.
We definitely ran into things where we realized that some of the ways that we were building graphics and units were not as optimized as they need to be for something like a console to run really smoothly. But there were things there that actually ended up improving the PC game as well.
I really hope that when we bring all these new console players into Age of Empires 4 for the very first time, that they get to share that enjoyment and everything that we love about the game with their friends and their families, much like I did with my dad when I was growing up. Well, that community is so special to me. I met my wife playing Age of Empires, and maybe, when we have children, they'll play Age of Empires too.
So my favorite thing about Age of Empires is the diverse civilizations that are represented. Even the language is representative of the civilizations for that time period. That dialogue grows or changes as the civilization ages up and the time periods change. I've worked in the RTS genre for over 29 years. I'm very genuine in saying that I actually prefer to play RTS games now with the controller.
You get all of the campaigns, all of our civilizations.
And most importantly, mods. Mods will be supported at launch day.
Age of Empires 4 is available now on Xbox consoles and cloud.
We took great care and attention to bring this game to console players, and we hope you're as excited to play it as we are to share it with you.
There's never been a better time to pick up a controller and start making history.
We'll see you on the battlefield.
Well, we just saw how it was made. I think maybe now it's time to play it for real on console, finally. But first, I'm going to ask you to head to Twitch chat for your chance to win a month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So now, please everyone join me in welcoming Chris Rubio to the Xbox stage. Chris, how are you doing today?
I am doing awesome.
It's been a pretty good 24 hours, right? We had Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition Shadow drop yesterday onto Game Pass from Opening Night Live. I know it's been a short amount of time, but what has the reaction been like so far?
It's been just overwhelmingly positive.
I like that answer. That's what I was hoping you'd say.
We met with, I've met with a lot of players that have come to our booth. They're like, wow, thank you for bringing it to console. We've been waiting a long time for this.
Yep.
People that have played it tell us, wow, that it's amazing how you even got it to work. What was the mad science behind that?
What were you doing?
A lot of magic and a lot of goodness went into it, but it's been a very, very awesome. The shadow drop was
yeah, we
great.
do love a shadow drop, don't we? Right, well, we're going to be digging into all of that, but you are here to showcase everything what the team of World's Edge have been working on, and we're going to be doing a live gameplay segment for you all. So we're going to go through a skirmish, and before I do any of the nerdy questions in my head about how you've done it, I'm going to ask you some nerdy questions about what we're going to be looking at here. So what have you got set up for us?
So today we'll be diving into skirmish, but I want to walk players through a lot of the changes that we made.
Yeah,
you've heard us. If you watch the documentary, we literally rebuilt the front end and a lot of all of the tactical UI. We built it from the ground up, redesigned it so it would work incredibly well on the console. And so I would love to show that off to players and everything that we've done.
The floor is all yours, my darling.
Sweetness. So let's jump in. So this is for the Xbox, we created a brand new front end. And by the way, I love that I'm all the way back here, like 8 feet. Incredibly readable. So this is awesome. Very easy to navigate through our various menus that we created. Just you can RB through everything. And again, still kind of it has a lot of the colors and flares that our PC version did, but again, redesigned so that you can couch play from almost 8 feet away, which is awesome.
Let's just pause for a moment. At no point on the screen does it say Age of Empires, but I know what I'm looking at, and you've got an Xbox and controller in your hand.
Yes.
So there you go.
It's awesome.
Job done.
So we're going to go into single player today, and we're going to set up a skirmish. But I've already set up a skirmish.
No, this is one I made earlier.
This is one I made earlier so that we can jump in. And more importantly, it'll enable me to talk about all the cool stuff that we've done.
Nice.
And hopefully not get destroyed by the AI. So,
well, also I'm going to make sure you aren't distracted and you do talk to me during
Yes, that's right.
Because I've heard that you go into focus mode somewhat.
I go into combat mode. So
which I love, because I'm not a combat girly. I like to I like to build my civilizations. I like to make them look very beautiful. And then in the end, I'm like, I suppose I need to go bash someone up now.
I do that too. I'm actually quite the builder. And then, I get a lot of better players than me that come over and stomp my base. I'm like, I probably should have been focused on making a cool base.
It's all about turtling the wonder in the base for me. That's how I go for it.
So it's awesome. So we're going to be playing today. We got the English versus the French.
Yep.
Very tried and true classic matchup.
Indeed.
We're going to start with our base kind of already pre-made. And if players out there haven't checked it out, we've released Empire Wars, which is a kind of a really cool fast start in the game. And Age of Empires 4 is a little bit different than Age of Empires 2. The civs are slightly more asymmetric. So Empires Wars was designed, each civilization starts and was handcrafted to start at the right start that you would expect them to be at that point in time. So a lot of passion and love went into making that mode super awesome. So what we see here is basically the base that I've set up. I got a bunch of workers right here in idle, but more importantly, it's like, well, what's all that UI on the screen?
That is the first thing, especially so you go from PC gameplay, and if you've never played on console, Age 2 came out early this year. If you've not had a chance to play that yourself, it even looks different to that one as well as soon as you load in somewhat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've went in, we've made a lot of modifications, and our goal is to literally streamline the interface, but at the same time make it incredibly accessible and easy to read for couch play.
Yes,
so
definitely.
One of the first things any PC player would notice is like, oh my gosh, the resource bar is in the top center of the screen. It's on the PC, it's in the lower left.
Yep.
And we found on the console
Thank you for the ad.
we found on the console that that placement is really nice, makes it super easy to read, and we got a lot of learnings actually came from Age of Empires 2. Kudos to that team for an awesome job that they did. So we were able to tap into a lot of that and literally kind of define out. So as I go through the screen in a clockwise motion, we have our resource bar at the top.
Yep.
We have kind of our tribute menu that you can access, with various commands. You'll also see a bunch of little helper widgets, and those were purposely done so there's, it's not mouse and keyboard. It is, you need to, as a new player, it's very helpful to understand which inputs you got to press to access various bits of functionality. The lower right-hand corner, that's kind of your tried and true mini-map.
Indeed, yeah.
You can expand your mini-map, which is a really cool bit of functionality. You can hold down the Y button. You can actually super fast scroll.
It's seamless.
Yep. You can drop camera markers, which I'm going to do here. One more, and then that's a terrible spot for a marker, but I'll drop one right there for the purpose of demo. And then what you can do too on the mini-map is you can just literally just jump around based on those waypoints that you set. So entirely up to the player, however they want to play. And the toolbar, or I should say the D-pad controls that you see in the center of this bottom center there, those are what we call a quick find menu, and it allows players, kind of like hotkey shortcuts on the PC.
Sure.
It allows you to jump to various units, structures that you have on the battlefield. For example, if I press D-pad up, I can cycle through all my idle villagers very quickly.
There they are.
If I want to go to my military, I can press D-pad left, boom. I'm right there with a group of units, and I can kind of cycle through them. Now, if I want, I can actually select all my idle villagers just by holding D-pad up.
Right. You've thought this through, haven't you?
It makes it super simple.
In fact, if we can for a moment, I just want to pause the game. We're going to cut away from the gameplay very quickly. Chat's probably going to know why. And I want to ask you a little bit about what work you've done in the background to try and get it to like the testing phase. And we even heard in that Vidoc just then that I think it's yourself or maybe a lot of other people are really, really excited about playing on a controller now.
Yeah, so we have, we've spent, I should say, both teams, Age of Empires 2 and 4, we spent many months and thousands of hours basically hammering away. We methodically went through the keyboard and mouse inputs and essentially broke them down, figured out how all of that would map and translate to the controller. And then once we got it all done on paper, after many months, we started prototyping, we started iterating, we started playing what worked, what didn't work, started throwing things out, bringing stuff back. So it was just a constant phase of development where we were just trying and experimenting until we landed on what you see here today. And we're really happy. The team, kudos to all the teams, our partner teams that worked on this. We have something that is truly amazing, and honestly, I've said this before. If you watch the videos, as an RTS player, I should say, as an RTS developer that's worked in the genre for about 29 years now, I actually prefer to play with the controller.
Well, let's get back in the hot seat then. Do some movements for us. I want to see. Do the thing again where you select all the villagers.
So I press up on the D-pad.
Go on. Oh, there we go.
Which is super awesome. If you think about it, it's like
so good.
And that's what I love about the controller is everything. Everything on the D-pad is at your fingertips. It's you no longer have two input devices. Everything's been focused down to one. And we've gone in, we've intelligently designed the controller in such a way that it just makes everything feel really intuitive, natural. And why I say that is because that carries through across both products, Age 2 and Age 4. So if you're an Age 2 player and you're like, I'm going to go download Age 4 right now.
Which you should, if you haven't, by the way.
Absolutely. You're going to be able to pick up the controller and start playing right away, and you're going to feel right at home. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can play this without having to relearn it. No, that was intentionally done because this blueprint that we have was designed so not only in the present is it awesome, but we can also carry it forward into the future with other iterations. So I got am I getting attacked by the AI? Look at that, I'm talking.
Here we are chatting and you're under fire.
Yeah, so what I want to show off are a couple cool innovations. These are absolutely critical to players out there. The first one is called the Villager Priority System, and this is key. I love this system with a passion, and I got to say, this is actually a new innovative feature for the genre as a whole. I was saying to our creative director, I'm like, how did we not think of this 10 years ago? and we laugh about it. But that's how cool of a feature it really is. So how it works is you essentially bring up this really cool radial. You hold down the left trigger, press an RS, and it brings up this radial. And this radial has a bunch of different presets that are broken up into various kind of like pie chart-like fashions. These are all weighted based on resource type. So
instead of dragging and dropping individual folks as they come out the village, it's just already managed.
This is where it gets really good. I got it all set up. So that's amazing. So we're gonna focus in on this economic one, but if you can use these presets. They were designed by our pro players on our team. We have some basic ones that if you're like me, you can just kind of set it and go. But depending on phase of gameplay, you can actually shift in and out of presets based on if I need more gold, need more stone.
Well, that's end game is when you need more gold. You don't really need it at start.
And you can pivot your villagers accordingly, and this governance system will take care of all that for you. Now, of course, if you're super pro, you can go in.
Which we are.
Yeah.
We are.
You can go in and customize your own VPS settings.
Okay.
So you have a custom setting for the pro players, or your average, individuals like myself, or your presets, which are more geared towards me. And let me show everybody how this works, because this is awesome. So I'm going to select the economic preset down here, very basic, straightforward. Click a button, and you watch all those idle villagers.
Off they go.
They're put to work.
And
let me show you an amazing pairing. So you take the Villager Priority System and you combine it with a new feature that we added to Age of Empires 4 on the Xbox, which is auto-train villagers on your TC. So now you get auto-train villagers going, and essentially you'll be booming in no time.
Just showing off now.
And it's awesome. So these features, made perfect sense to pair these two.
Yeah.
And anybody out there, try it out. You're gonna love it. Once you can't go back. I was playing the PC the other day, and we're working on PC, iterating and changing things. I'm like, I had so much wood. I'm like, why are my villagers collecting wood? I'm like, oh gosh, I forgot. I'm on the PC, not the console, and you got to manually go in and manage. But people, players love that level of micro. So we want to make sure that we give player the agency to do either or. This system really helps bolster the console experience. So. And that's why we added it. And Age of Empires 2 was the first one to add it. We brought the system in. We've made some additional tunings to it to make it work even better. And over time, you're just going to see the system in the Age series just grow and grow and just become super awesome.
Absolutely love it.
I got one more. Do we have time?
Oh, of course we've got time. All the time in the world.
So another feature that we added to Age of Empires Xbox was the ability to build anywhere you want without having to select a villager. This is key. So normally in the past, you had to select a villager and bring up the command bar. On the PC, it's in the bottom.
Yep.
I didn't show this earlier. Gosh darn it. And here, this is the build radial. So let me talk about it now. This is the build radial. And on the console, we've broken up the build features across 4 different categories. You have economy, defense, military, and age up. So, and I'll back out of that, bring it back up again. And all of this is easily accessible through the D-pad. Purposely designed so players eventually can map all this in their brains to, I'll just go to economy and eventually get it. So very well done. So with the site menu system, no longer do you have to select a villager. You can simply say, cursor over this resource pile, hit the right trigger, and it's going to bring up the right structure that you can place at that particular pile.
And then the way that you've weighted the villagers to work, people will go build it, and then they'll go mine it.
One villager will automatically be assigned, and it'll start building. And the great thing is, once this villager is done, the VPS system will capture that villager and put it back to work.
Oh my days.
So it's super awesome. And of course, that's with resource piles, so it's context sensitive, on demand. You can also cursor over the terrain, bring up the menu, go to your build system, and it brings up the villager radio. And at that point, say I want to build more military structures, simply select the military structure, build one, and it's going to select the nearby villager, and off you go. So again, some really awesome niceties that we added to the game to just further bolster the console experience and reduce APM on the player.
So good. Now, there might be some people in chat who saw the news yesterday as well, who might be brand new to this whole experience, and there is a tutorial that's been added called Rise of the King. I wonder if we could just touch on that very quickly.
Absolutely. So the Rise of the King tutorial was created for the Xbox experience. It's broken up across 5 different missions, and it was designed to teach players the basics, the core, your core inputs, your basic age concepts, as well as teach players the fundamentals like base building, resource management, and of course the biggie, combat. So it takes players through all of these different phases of gameplay across 5 missions. Now, we didn't want to just build an onboarding experience that was do this, do that. We wanted something that was narratively driven and tied into the historical component that we created for Age of Empires 4. So we decided to create a prelude to the main campaign of the game, which follows William the Conqueror starting in 1047, and it takes you all the way up to 1066 with a landing in England up to the Battle of Hastings.
There it is.
So when you move into the main campaign, you'll actually start off right where you left off in the tutorial.
Oh, you lot are well smart. Well done. So the Xbox mantra...
Hey, what's good, Mohammed? We're just watching the Gamescom Xbox event right now.
Wherever you want. And that's very important because now we've enabled 2 and 4 of the Age franchise on Xbox consoles. How does it feel to be continuing to support that mantra?
It's awesome. It's an opportunity for us to get Age in the hands of millions of new gamers around the world. That may never have the opportunity to experience this game. Always wanted to experience this game, but for whatever reason, they couldn't. So now, through Game Pass and Xbox, they can go online, they can download it, and have a great experience. And so for us, it's an opportunity, a chance for players to play on the platform they want and play comfortably on the input device that they want.
And comfortably on the sofa as
on
well.
The sofa, which, by the way,
sofa
is super awesome.
It's pretty good. Chat, by the way, I want to know, hands up in chat if you have got it installed, because I want to see everyone just get very, very excited. It has been a little bit of time since it's been announced, so fingers crossed you have. But before we go, I must ask, because I'm also very excited. I hear you've got a big announcement for us, something you want to share, maybe?
I am thrilled.
Thrilled
and have the privilege of being able to announce to everyone around the world that the biggest expansion released for Age of Empires 4 is coming soon. It's called The Sultan's Ascend. It's packed with a ton of content, and it's going to take players on an epic journey through the Middle East. Now, I can say stay tuned. That's all I can say at this time.
Sorry, chat.
We're going to release more information very shortly, as well as details on how you can go onto your favorite platform and wishlist this baby up. So
fantastic.
Super excited, and please, that's good. The expansion's awesome.
I cannot wait to see more. Cannot wait to hear more. Chris, I also want to know when you go home and continue the skirmish, I want to hear how the fight goes when you do it, all right?
Probably going to go terribly.
Nah, I believe in you. I believe in you. Well, thanks again for joining us. And chat, please do not forget, you can play Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition on Xbox right now. You didn't think I'd be saying that a few days ago.
Nice. So that is the new Age of Empires console edition.
Coming up next, I'm going to be chatting with the big man himself, Phil Spencer. So get mega excited. But first, it made a splash on Opening Night Live. So let's check it out right now. This is the latest from Starfield.
Starfield! Hey guys, it's a Starfield live action trailer. Look.
day one with Xbox Game Pass.
So yeah, this looks awesome. I'd love to be there right now.
It is my distinct pleasure to welcome CEO of Microsoft Gaming, Mr.
There he is, Mr. Phil Spencer himself.
How are you, my
I'm
dear?
well. How are you? It's good to be here.
So good.
How's your first day of Gamescom?
I mean, it's been exciting. I've
Yeah.
had a walk around. I've looked at some things, but I've mostly just been sitting here talking Diablo and Age, and now to you. So it's like
I saw the Age.
Yeah,
Demo looked
kind of like a
awesome.
10 out of 10
Who was
day.
out here for Diablo?
Diablo, it was Rod and Chris. We're out here.
Roderick was here.
Roderick indeed.
Yeah, good. Good.
Yeah, good vibes. I want to start by saying that the last time we were together, we were sat in the Bethesda London office planning to steal loads of stuff because we're loads of cool
Are we
stuff
saying
behind
planning
us.
because we don't want
Planning,
people to know that we
yes,
did?
Exactly. Well, you've said it now, so I was protecting us.
I still have my stuff.
Well, every time I talk to you, I always
Hi,
ask
Phil.
what you're playing. So I want to know what you're playing and why is it still Vampire Survivors?
No. Well, I am playing Vampire Survivors,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
got all the achievements.
Obviously, yeah.
But now they have couch co-op, and I'm playing with my
Yeah.
wife.
Mm-hmm.
My wife Kelly, who doesn't play a ton of video games.
Yep.
So the fact that we can play couch co-op and she's
That's
enjoying
cool.
it,
That's
like
cool.
I'm all in.
as well, yeah.
So what I'm playing right now on console, I'm playing a lot of Remnant 2.
Mhm.
I really like Remnant 2.
Yep.
It's a great game to play with friends. I had my ROG Ally on the way out here. I'm playing a game called Fist, which is in Game Pass.
Yep.
It's a really nice platformer. I'm playing Brotato. Have you played Brotato?
This is also the first I've heard of it, so please
No.
tell me more. What is that?
So Brotato's not on Xbox. I'll
Okay.
say yet, but I don't have any. Well, it would be great to get on Xbox. It's a Steam game. It's kind of like, let's say it's inspired by Vampire Survivors.
Oh, I see.
But you play as a
You have a
potato.
type.
Yes,
Phil Spencer and me have got a
I
very
have a
similar.
small brain. So one stick.
Phil
move
Spencer and me
around.
have got a similar taste in these
it's a fun
like
game.
roguelike
So I'm playing
games.
some
Brotato,
Brotato.
Vampire Survivors.
I just
pretty good.
finished. What did I just finish last? Bramble. Have you played this game?
No, I've had it recommended a bunch, though.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's because it's a nice
Ooh.
short playthrough, isn't it?
Ooh,
as
but
well?
it's kind of a demented game. Like
A
it starts
demented
off
game.
demented. Yeah, it starts off very cute,
Yeah.
and you think, oh, like this is awesome, and then it like goes into some very crazy.
And it
Great game.
zags.
Great game, but it's like some very dark. Let's just say dark places.
I'll get it on the download queue. That sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's
Wonderful. So we're going to focus on Gamescom now. We're going to stop flapping our gums and
Okay.
actually talk. We're in Gamescom, quite literally surrounded by Xbox fans.
50,000 square feet
Yeah.
of Xbox booth.
It's pretty good. And
Biggest
this is,
ever.
This is the first time in a while you've stepped on it as well. So I want to know why it's so important that Xbox has showed up so big this year.
Well, being here, being anywhere, but being in Europe with our customers, with players, with the creators that are here. I did a creator get together both last night, today, met with some partners. It's, you know, it's these moments where the industry comes together, where we can talk to each other, that the consumers can come in, the players can come in, put their hands on games. I just think it's critically important. Obviously, COVID messed up a bunch of things. We're kind of, that's in the rearview mirror. So when we had the opportunity this year to go big at Gamescom, we said, let's go. The other thing that's awesome in the booth is how much third-party support that's here, right? Like Ed Boon's games here, Mortal Kombat's here. We have the DLC for Cyberpunk's here. Like, it's just awesome to see how many of our partners, Rod's games here, Diablo, how many of the third-party support on the floor. It's an important thing for us as a platform. And it's just nice to get reconnected back with the community here.
And then Starfield over, I feel like I'm showing everyone over
I can't
here.
see it. I can't see it. It's too
Starfield.
small.
Well, it is actually technically massive, to correct you there. And we're only a week away from early access. So how exciting is it seeing this game coming to Xbox, and we're so close now?
Yeah, we've been working on it for a long time. I've known about it for, you know, even before we acquired ZeniMax. So it's been great to see Todd and the team work more closely with them than we ever have on any game. You know, there aren't that many moments where we get to launch a new IP that has the amount of buzz and anticipation that Starfield does. A lot of games you'll launch that are new IP and then maybe they build into their
I
story.
like what we're going to get with
There's just
Starfield.
a crazy amount of
Starfield's
anticipation.
going to be amazing.
And the thing that I love is the confidence that the team has right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Like putting out review codes 2 weeks before launch, because it's a big game. And I'll be the first to admit, the first 3 to 4 hours are a little bit hunt and peck, figure out like, well, what am I actually doing? Then you get on a side quest or something, and like the game just like blows up in terms of its epic scale. So I love the fact that the team is so confident in giving reviewers time with the game before they're actually reviewing or just talking about what they think of the game.
Yeah, and just behind that, in the rearview mirror,
Starfield's going to be so
I
good.
think that's how it works. Forza Motorsport's over there, and that's out not too long after Starfield, is it?
That's right. That's October. We did a take home 2 weeks ago where we got the kind of the opening of the game. Looks fantastic. I'm a huge motorsport fan.
Forza Motorsport looks really good at the moment.
Our first party has really been a technical showcase. Like Chris Tector, the team on the tech side, the stuff that they get the most out of the hardware, I think, of any of our first party teams. They just that's their focus, along with building a great racing simulator. And the game looks fantastic. And I can't wait for people to get to play. The ray tracing on track looks great. Giving people some options. You'll see all that as they kind of talk about more of the game. But Motorsport is something that one of those franchises I've played since the beginning, and I can't wait for the full release.
Staple, huh?
Yeah,
it's Motorsport is chef's kiss.
Well, and kudos to Turn 10. They started with Motorsport, expanded to Horizon, so now they built like a sibling franchise to Motorsport.
Yep.
They've just done such a really good job of growing the relevance of Forza, both for simulation and arcade players. Great job.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Phil, I know one of the things in chat, and many of the fans really appreciate about you, is how much you love to play the games themselves. So I know just over here, you can't see behind me, we've got the Stalker 2 demo, and you've taken that for a spin as well. It's been 16 years since the original.
This is what I love about Xbox compared to PlayStation. These events, Phil Spencer's actually he's acknowledged games aren't even on Xbox. Do you know what I mean?
Setting and story, and it's really nice to see what they've done in this build.
It's like she asked him what you playing, and she's like, "Bro, and it's not even on Xbox." It's a
what
Steam
your
game.
role is in the world, and kind of how the world invites you into what your role is and your kind of task. I'm trying to do this without kind of spoiling too much.
You can spoil if you want.
No, that's their game. I don't want to do that. But I'll also say, they're a dev that spends a lot of time perfecting the game in terms of the technology. I think they're still on that track. Yes. They're still, obviously the game's not done. So it's, but yeah, I just love that they've done a good job moving the Stalker kind of world forward, but being very tried and true to what Stalker's about.
Yeah, for sure. And to be totally honest, even under the best circumstances in games development, it's super tough. But for GSC, obviously, it's a bit more complex, their situation they've got there. So I want to know, what does it mean to you to see these guys get here and get a demo out of the door?
Yeah, I've stayed in touch with the team over the years, and especially as you say, the last couple of years, it's an emotional thing, right? You almost feel hollow asking them about how their game is.
Yeah, of course.
When you think about the world and what that they live in, and what that studio has gone through and really continues to go through. I think for them, I see, and they've talked about this when I've talked to them, that building the game has kind of been a refuge in a way.
Yeah, I can get that.
It's cool to see that. I hope it never gets replicated again in terms of something that has to happen. But I'll say for the team, the fact that they're here, I was playing, they were literally pushing a new build right as I was playing that build. So their attention to wanting to put their best foot forward, even under the most difficult circumstances. I have a ton of confidence in them, and they're on that journey. But it's it's an emotional thing when you're talking to a team that's going through. I don't want to talk about it in past tense, what that team is going through. So it's really special to me that they're here and that gaming can be part of how they're getting through it.
Yeah, for sure. And as well as being here, there are so many communities for so many different games.
Yeah.
The RX was, you've got Sea Thieves. I'm doing it again. Sea Thieves over there. You've got an ESO over there.
They can't see it,
No, I know. I'm just
There's actually nothing over
I'm
there.
telling
She's
you
just
where they all are.
It's an empty, there's nothing here. And you're just
It's not a
pointing
green screen, it's an illusion.
The grounded communities over there. It's actually not.
But what's it like for you to see all of these
Star Trek's good, but I will admit I prefer
community in
I'm
gaming
only joking.
to
Star
me
Trek's good. I've only just finished watching their Next Generation.
Like, it's from my early days of literally going to the arcade. I'm the old guy, but like that's the only way I could play that and Pong at my house. That's how I played video games. And there was a community in the arcade of like, hey, what's the new hot console? Not video game console, but actually arcade console cabinet that you're going to go play. And I love that today those communities, they're still physical. Like you asked, why are we here at Gamescom? Because we have a fan fest tonight.
Indeed,
it's going to be
yeah.
awesome with the local community and the people that are here, but also the virtual communities. And I think it's one of the unique things in video games that video games can connect people across geographies, across races, religions. Like it is just a connector of people. And when it's a game like a Sea of Thieves, like a Grounded, like a Flight Sim, so many of our games now have these Elder Scrolls Online, which has a big, over there, has a big presence on our show floor.
And they've got a really nice table in there as well.
They do that big round table.
A really nice table. It's another one of the things on my list to see if I can pilfer. I won't lie to you.
We should steal that.
Yeah, we should.
But the thing, I also want to make sure on the community side, it's not just about multiplayer games. Like you find, like think about Skyrim.
Yeah.
You know, Skyrim has an amazing community around it. And it's not because there's a bunch of PvP or PvE, right? It's people come together for their shared love of the world and the characters and the lore and their role in that. I just think that's a very special part of gaming, and it's a privilege, I guess, for us at Xbox to have some franchises that are a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this, what we're seeing here is, I think it fully opens to the public tomorrow and all.
It's the sweatshop tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, this is going to really pop off then.
In here. It's going to be warm.
You got the good day to come and sit here, I think.
I'm here tomorrow. I'm here.
But
like, people know, like today is the press day, right?
Yes,
is that what they call it? I don't know if that has an official name. I should know, but I don't know. And then tomorrow, the consumers, the players, come in. Have you ever seen like when they open the
running?
It's ridiculous.
And then eventually at some point, I'm going to stop pointing, but the escalators, and they get so busy.
Yeah.
Every time I come to Gamescom with someone new, I tell them you have to see the running when it opens and the escalators when they're full. It's great.
It's awesome to be back. And I think they feel like this might be one of the biggest Gamescom ever.
It feels it already, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's kudos to the team here who's kept this going. They went virtual for a while, but now we're here back, and there's so many fans and players here. It's like just such a special time.
And it's special for Xbox as well, as we've mentioned a few times on the show already, that it's the 10th anniversary of ID at Xbox.
I have my ID at Xbox.
There it is. He's sporting it. He knew what he was doing.
Wear it.
I'd love for you to reflect on any memories or moments you have from the introduction of ID and how it's gone over the past 10 years.
I'm going to start with a couple things.
Yeah.
One, we always have discussions internally when new things are going to happen on the console. And there's always some different kind of feelings about the impact. When free-to-play came to console, it'll be the end of the console if free-to-play comes to console. Some people think it is. But, like, you know, clearly the console's still there and free-to-play happened. ID at Xbox. Well, when we have unmanaged partners that are building games on Xbox, what does that mean for a console? Because we started with this silly thing where publishers had 2 slots of arcade games that they could go do. It was like a silly policy in Xbox. Opening it up and allowing anybody who submits and actually has good intent to build a game on the platform has led to some of the best games that have. People forget like that Fortnite actually came through ID at Xbox. When you ask about like some of the special moments, I have to go to games from places where we'd never seen games from Xbox. I remember going to the Brazil game show and meeting the devs behind Aritana. I'm probably missing the pronunciation. But it's this, I think it was the first Brazilian developed Xbox game. And it came through ID at Xbox, and this team of guys, we were in Sao Paulo, and they came together, and I met them at the show, and it was so cool just to think. It used to be there were like 3 places on the planet where games were built. And now you have games coming from all over the place, and people tell their stories through their lived experience and their world.
It's totally different stories, as you say,
Totally
around
is.
the world. Yeah.
Now, whether it's explicit in like I'm going to do a game about Brazil, or I'm going to do a game about something else, but through the lens of what I see in the world. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Whether it was like Candleman, which I think was the first Chinese-developed ID at Xbox game. Like I always love when we're finding new ID at Xbox games from new places and new
I like that they're getting like newbies
who
haven't got all of that,
more
you know,
creative and the mix of those two things.
experience with of contacts in the gaming
10 years
world,
ago,
and
announced
IDI
on
Xbox
Gamescom.
allowed that to
Yeah,
come
it's
for
old now.
new people to come
Feels
through
like
to
yesterday.
the
I
door
don't
to
remember.
develop
I
games, and
still
like Phil
remember.
says, it's some of the
I
best
thought you were
games.
saying you were 10 years old then.
No.
That's a great job for a 10-year-old that
No,
you've got.
no, I'm like, no, but it's like that it was 10 years ago. And I remember though, like, trepidation. What's going to happen when unmanaged developers can build console games? You know what happened? Some amazing things happened.
It did.
Yeah.
So another thing that you talk about a lot as well is
Trust.
when you can play games whenever, however, and wherever you want. And I know that's something you really want to give to fans however possible. So I want to know what that commitment looks like both at Gamescom and maybe the months ahead, what that story is going to be.
Yeah, the critical thing we look at Teams Xbox in terms of our success is how many players.
Yeah.
How many players do we have? And even more and more, how much are people playing? Like, do we have a platform that has games for kind of all days, of, all hours of the day? Sometimes you're playing with your family, and what can I do? Sometimes it's just me time, and I want to go do things. And how many players show up? We look at our monthly active players, our daily active players. And when I say on Xbox there, whether you're playing on the cloud and you're streaming to a device that we don't know anything about, whether you're playing on a PC, and as Microsoft, we know something about the PC, or you're playing on one of our consoles. Like, those are all Xbox players. Or, like, flying over here, I'm playing on my ROG Ally on the airplane. And I think about that as my Xbox away from home, or my Steam Deck. Like, I want those things to feel as connected and as complete as an Xbox experience as any piece of hardware that we build. We will continue to focus on hardware. It's an important part of our team and what we can go do. But I don't want our hardware to be a limitation on who can actually feel like they're part of the
Dave Brett Spiner is amazing.
If you buy hardware from us, we're going to do an awesome job supporting you. We want to make sure great games are there. If you have the device that you want to bring and be part of Xbox, we also want that to be 100% great on Xbox. And it's, as you said, it's putting the player's decision on where they want to play at the center of it.
It's just there for them, whichever one they want to
That's
grab
right.
at that time.
And not only is it there, my save game moves with me, my community is there, so I can make progress on any platform I want to play on, and I can grind my characters, I can make my way through the story anywhere I've been. It's one of the best things about Starfield, pointing at it.
That's over there.
Yeah, I've been moving. I play on work, on my PC. When I go home, I sit on my console and I go play. And it's just a continuous experience for me, and everything moves. It's fantastic.
Amazing. So I also want to know, while we are here, is there anything you're particularly excited about trying, either on the booth, off the booth? What have you got your eyes on?
Well, Stalker 2 was one, so it was great to get to sit and talk to the team yesterday and just connect, right, and see how they're doing. I have this funny thing with Ed Boon, where Ed and I have known each other for a long time, head of the team behind Mortal Kombat, but we tend to cross ourselves on stage all the time. It happened last night at OLN.
Congratulations last night, by the way. Smashed
But
it.
accepting an award that team did on like an Xbox.
Yeah, but
I
you
didn't do it.
accepted it so well, Phil. Well done.
Thanks. I'm very good at coming out with a trophy and a microphone and accepting an award for work that other people did. You did awesome work. But I want to get over with Mortal Kombat. We had the same thing at, I still call it E3, though no one else does, but that June event, our showcase, but also I think he was in Keeley's, the Play Days thing, which was great. But we
Is E3 not called E3 anymore?
Because he was on, I think, right after me as I was coming off stage, which is how we normally spend time together. But really great third parties here, and I know I'm supposed to pick some obscure indie game, but I want to sit down with Ed and get my hands on Mortal Kombat, so I'm hoping I get to do that.
I'm going to recommend to you, if you haven't yet, go play Little Kitty Big City.
I have not.
That's the one
I'm not really a cat person, though.
Phil!
No.
You have
Are
to
we gonna fight?
spoil it, don't you? I have to thank you now for the interview, and you've just gone and said you're not a cat person.
I'm a dog person. My dog's name is Oogie.
Oogie?
Oogie, O-O-G-I-E.
Oh, okay.
He's a rescue.
Maybe I'll let you off
He is
then.
the most awesomest dog ever.
Fine.
But yeah. It's so big kitty, big city. What would say?
Well, imagine if it was Big Kitty, Little City. Now that's a game.
Yeah.
Someone make that one. Well, Phil, we got to wrap there. You're absolutely fantastic as always. Thank
Phil's
you for joining
brilliant.
us.
You are.
No, you are. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Thank you.
Don't steal too much stuff, and I'm sure we'll speak to you soon. But now it's over to Benny and Maxie to close out the end of the show.
All right.
That is day one of our Xbox Gamescom coverage in the books, but don't worry, we're just getting started. That's right, over the next 2 days, we've got more from the new Cyberpunk 2077 expansion.
Yes, Cyberpunk tomorrow.
Liberty. We'll scare ourselves silly with Alan Wake 2, and we get hyped with a tour of this massive Xbox booth.
And then
Oh, yeah.
we sail the high seas with Sea of Thieves. We're gonna party with party animals and check out City Skylines 2 from
City Skylines 2 is going to be a good one.
all that and so much more. So join us right back here tomorrow and Friday. Until then, happy gaming. See you then. Macht's gut. Ciao.
Right. We have got more Xbox tomorrow and the day after. Look, Starfield. Starfield looks amazing. Armored Core looks great. That looks quite cool, the Immortals of Avium. Looks cool, not my kind of game, but looks cool. God is obviously coming out. Double Dragon Gaiden. That game looks interesting, Chance of Sonara. Got some really nice games coming out. What's that? Oh, I thought I was going to be King of Crabs. Update for The Sims. Under the Waves. Wandering Village, that's pretty good actually. I had a chance to try that before. That's actually a decent game. Very nice game. I love how they bring the 2023 game at the end of 2023. It's weird. But that was a good little bit of a showcase there, guys and girls. So we are going to go and have a break and we'll come back with another game. So thank you for joining us on that showcase.